Well, let me ask you something, man. What do you think is the smallest apartment that you could live in? How small, and for how long?
Just one floor.
One floor.
Okay.
We talking about one floor.
Like, can it be multi-level?
No, we're talking about
Just like a change of scenery?
We're talking about the smallest apartment that you could live in.
For how long?
10 years.
10 years?
Yeah, 10 years.
Oh,
10 years.
it would have to be at least
Can your bed be in the kitchen? Yes or no?
for 10 years, that's no. I can't do that. Maybe for like a year as an experience, but
So, Hong Kong, small apartments, right?
yeah.
Nano apartments. The real estate market in Hong Kong has not really suffered all that much throughout this pandemic. You are still having tremendous real estate costs. It's just so jam-packed. It's so limited for expansion.
Yeah.
Space is at such a premium.
Just building upwards.
Nano apartments accounted for a record 13% of sales in 2019. Units smaller than 2 parking spaces still fetch $645,000 USD. And what Will's showing now is a picture of one of these units. The bed and TV is next to the countertop in the kitchen. That's the whole thing. Like this, you're getting stressed out and claustrophobic right now. You took a deep breath.
Yeah, it's not a good outlook for your life. Like in this case. Well, it looks nice. Like it's very modern inside. It's
Sure.
just the space of it. It's just something that I guess maybe I'm not used to.
No, well, neither you nor I are used to. If we grew up around here, there's plenty of space. You can't even. There's nowhere really to walk, to
stretch
stand,
even.
to stretch. You couldn't. Yeah. I don't know. You're in your bed for everything too.
Yeah.
Like you're basically on your bed. If you're in your apartment, you're on your bed. Like where do you eat? I guess you eat there too. It looks like that bed folds up into
a couch.
Look, people have gotten more efficient at doing this with the tiny homes.
You're
and
right, yeah.
Things like this. People have done a better job of it. Even the one you're showing is I mean, for what it is kind of nice looking. I don't know where the window is. That's another terrifying aspect.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, no, not even a small little
Or
window.
like a skylight.
Yes, something. It's not there. 13% of apartments sold in 2019 were less than 260 square feet, smaller than 2-car parking spaces. These tiny units accounted for only 0.2% of sales in 2010. So in 2010, people were not that interested in those tiny, like nano size apartments. However, that 0.2% is now up to 13% in 2019. So the affordability goes out the window, but people still don't want to leave or can't leave. And so they're taking what they have and turning it into the only thing they can get.
Right.
Which is this shrinking of the physical spaces. It has been the least affordable housing market for a very long period of time, and by a long shot. Funny enough, on that list of non-affordable living, 2 Canadian cities in there, Toronto and Vancouver. Vancouver coming in second, but it's still at like half of the, it's twice as affordable as Hong Kong comparative to what people make in that region. These are adjusted, but also on the list, Sydney, Melbourne, Auckland, San Jose, San Francisco, and London. But to put that in perspective, Hong Kong is a 20.8 and London, England is at 8.2. So tremendously expensive place, which has caused this shrinking of spaces. It's like some have called it a coffin. I wouldn't want to spend too much time there either, particularly right now with COVID and everything else. If you can't get out of the house either, it's a rough ride.
What if you have a noisy neighbor too?
Right.
I'm thinking the walls might be pretty thin just for the space.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It was kind of something similar to the conversation around New York and the style of apartments. It's one thing to have a tiny apartment if you spend a lot of time at restaurants and bars and at work, and so what? Who cares? You just sleep there. But if you're expected to spend a lot of time there, I think then the space comes into question a little bit more.